Some feelings don't announce themselves loudly. They sit quietly in the background. You carry them without talking about them. Not because you can't explain them, but because they've always been there. You might not remember a clear moment when they started, just a sense that something stayed with you, a weight that feels familiar, almost normal now, so normal that you rarely question it. You move through life functioning, responding, adapting. But inside, there's a subtle awareness that part of you learned to stay alert early, to notice shifts in tone, to read rooms carefully, to feel things deeply without showing them. It doesn't feel dramatic. It feels quiet, private, almost invisible to others. And yet, when the world slows down, you notice it. In moments of silence, in the way certain memories still carry a charge, in how your body remembers what your words never had to explain. This isn't about blaming the past. It's about recognizing something that never fully left. What you carry doesn't mean something is wrong with you. Many people move into adulthood holding quiet emotional experiences that were never fully named or understood at the time. It's not always about a specific memory or event. Sometimes it's a feeling that stayed, a sense of caution, sadness, or emotional tightness that became part of how you see the world. You may have learned early to stay composed, to not ask for too much, or to process things on your own. Over time, that becomes familiar, normal. And because it's quiet, it often goes unnoticed by others, even by you. But feeling this way doesn't make you broken, weak, or behind. It means your emotional world adapted in a way that helped you move forward. Many adults carry something similar, even if they never talk about it. You're not alone in this experience, and you never have been. Early emotional experiences don't disappear just because time moves forward. The mind learns from what it feels repeatedly, especially when we're young and still figuring out how the world works. If certain emotions were ignored, rushed, or carried alone, the brain quietly adjusted. It learned to stay alert, to read situations carefully, to protect itself by noticing more than expressing. This isn't a flaw, it's how humans adapt. The mind is always trying to make sense of its environment and keep itself steady. Over time, these early patterns become familiar ways of seeing and responding to life. You may notice you feel things deeply but explain them rarely, or you sense emotional shifts before anyone else does. That doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It means your awareness developed early. What once helped you navigate uncertainty can still shape how you perceive people, moments, and yourself. When you understand this, the confusion softens. The feeling isn't random or broken. It's a learned response that made sense when it formed, and it still quietly influences how you move through the world today. You might notice it in small, almost invisible ways. You listen more than you speak, even when you have something to say. You pause before sharing personal thoughts, not because you don't have them, but because you've learned to hold them gently inside. In groups, you often observe the room, reading moods, tones, and shifts that others miss. You may downplay your own needs, telling yourself it's easier that way. Compliments can feel uncomfortable, while criticism lingers longer than it should. You stay composed on the outside, even when emotions move quietly beneath the surface. These patterns don't feel dramatic. They feel normal, familiar, automatic. You might not even question them, but they are small echoes of earlier experiences, shaping how you react, connect, and protect yourself in everyday moments. They influence how close you let people get, how much you reveal, and how often you choose silence over expression without consciously deciding to do so. Inside, there is often a quiet push and pull. One part of you wants to be close, to be known, to feel that someone truly understands what lives beneath the surface. Another part stays alert, careful, reminding you how vulnerable that closeness can feel. You might feel the urge to speak, to explain yourself, to let something honest come out, then feel yourself hold back at the last moment. It's not fear, exactly. It's caution shaped by experience. You feel deeply, yet you've learned to keep those feelings contained. You crave warmth, but you also protect your inner space. This can leave you feeling divided, like you're standing at the edge of connection without fully stepping in. You may appear calm, steady, even distant, while inside there is longing, sensitivity, and unspoken emotion. This conflict doesn't shout, it whispers. It lives in hesitation, in restraint, in moments where you choose silence even though your inner world is full and alive. Over time, your mind learns small, quiet ways to keep you safe. You may have learned to rely on yourself emotionally, to expect less, to stay composed even when something inside feels tender. Holding things in can start to feel more familiar than sharing them. You become good at managing your inner world on your own, not because you don't value connection, but because you learned that protecting your feelings mattered. You might downplay your needs, stay emotionally steady for others, or avoid drawing attention to what hurts. These patterns aren't flaws, they are responses. They formed slowly, often without you noticing, shaped by moments when being open didn't feel secure. Your mind chose consistency over risk, quiet over exposure. What looks like distance from the outside is often care on the inside, a careful guarding of something meaningful. When you see these habits through this lens, the harsh judgment softens. You begin to recognize that these adaptations weren't about weakness or avoidance. They were about survival, about preserving a sense of safety when that safety once felt uncertain. There is a quiet realization that often arrives slowly, not as a breakthrough, but as a gentle pause. The pain you carried wasn't something broken inside you. It was something that formed in response to what you felt and what you lacked. It was your mind's way of making sense of moments that were too heavy to hold all at once. What stayed with you wasn't weakness. It was memory, not just of events, but of feelings that didn't have space to be expressed. When you see it this way, the story shifts. The weight you've carried becomes understandable, even human. The reactions you still have begin to make sense in context. You weren't failing to move on. You were responding the only way you knew how at the time. And that response followed you forward, quietly shaping how you see yourself and the world. This isn't about fixing anything. It's about noticing, about recognizing that what felt like a flaw was once a form of protection. And in that awareness, something inside you softens, just enough to breathe. You don't have to resolve everything that shaped you. You don't have to reach a conclusion or decide what comes next. Sometimes, understanding is enough. Simply noticing where certain feelings began and how they stayed can bring a quiet sense of clarity. There is nothing you need to force or undo. What you carry has a history, and now it has a name in your awareness, even if it remains unspoken. You can let that understanding sit gently, without pushing it away or pulling it closer. This moment isn't about change. It's about allowing yourself to exist with what you know, without judgment. Just a calm recognition of your inner experience. And for now, that is enough.